What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, tigerfitness.com, alongside
Bryce Beal, Director of Sports Performance at Legacy at Carbon.
All right, guys. So we just want to get as much information about training out there as possible, or information that we believe will help you kind of cut through all the malarkey we see on the internet. And we feel that we're very good at what we do. Our results speak for themselves. So we have actually a pretty interesting topic today for you guys.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about a couple ways we do our periodization schemes. Now, there's so much information out there that you can literally type in periodization for sports performance, and God knows how many articles and books are going to come up. So
dozens.
There's 100 different ways to go about it. We're going to go really easy for us. We do a lot of undulating, so we change it daily or weekly.
So explain undulating.
So undulating is for us, it is the difference in programming each day or each week. So most times you see 4x8. Next week it's 4x6. Next week it's 4x4, where they're staying in the same linear progression. And I'm a fan of linear progression in a way for younger kids, but at some point in some time, you're going to stalemate. And you can't
Nothing's
progress.
linear in life.
No. And that's why giving kids, and like the reason I love doing this is I keep kids on edge when I do this, because they might think it's going to be, a heavy squat day, but it might be a speed squat day. I'm undulating not only the sets and reps, I'm also changing the percentage every time.
Do you ever change that on the fly based on how the kid presents?
Yes. So
based on the kid's workload, you could come in, you have a whole session program, and let's say AJ comes in and he's like, yeah, I didn't sleep well, and we had this, he's not doing 77. We had this wrestling match, and I'm just, man, it was a rough weekend.
Well, we'll give you a real life example. How about that?
Okay.
He came in from track. I think he's running from what I understand, 5 to 7 events. So I think it was 100 meter dash, 4x1, 4x2, 4x4, and 2 other things.
That'll screw you up.
Yep. And that's exactly what happened. He walked in, was absolutely dead, said, I can't do legs. We had legs planned. And we completely changed his entire workout. We went from a strength day where I made it more for upper body and our purposes for him specifically so he can recover, where we went to a speed strength day. So everything went towards how fast we can move something. So that's the nice thing about undulating is on my end, I can change anything I want.
So it's basically...
It's a variance.
It's a educated instinctive training, as we call in bodybuilding, where if you go to the gym to do shoulders and you still haven't recovered from chest and back day, your shoulders,
yes,
you do legs.
And the nice thing with undulation is you can make it a daily change. It's if 4 by, easy ones, west side's 5x5. It's 70, 75, 80, 85, I think it is. And it's a constant progression up. It's a linear drive up, where undulating every day I can change the load, the parameter, the goal of what we're doing, whether it's strength, whether it's speed strength or strength speed, where I can hit multiple different qualities of training in the sense of what I'm trying to focus on. And it allows a lot of plug and play for me, because with me changing the percentages, sets and reps all the time, at least 3 times a week, it's being changed. I mean, really, it's being changed every day for the kids that are 4 or 5 days a week. And I can do that for 4 weeks straight. I can do that for 8 weeks straight. And I don't need a deload most likely because of the constant undulating of time and all of our sets and reps.
So it's basically instinctive deloading. Yeah, because a lot of people just overreach. And yes, overreaching is different than overtraining. Yeah. Overtraining, overtraining basically it's basically rhabdo. It's the only medical case I have for overtraining. Other than that, you're looking at overreaching, which is when your body's just spent. Overtraining is a long-term nervous system issue. You have to be malnourished. You have to be overtrained. And if overtraining was a thing, then every boxer would have it in camp, because they're training for 8 hours a day, bro. Yeah. They got morning, afternoon, and evening, 2 hours a session.
Well, and okay, let's take, and I love this method, 5-3-1, Jim Wendler.
Yeah.
What is it? 65, 75, 85% week 1. Week 2, 70, 80, 90 for triples. 75, 85, 95% for 5, 3, 1 or 1 plus. And for what people don't get is like, that is a lot of stress.
Oh my God.
And especially if you're adding joker sets.
It doesn't factor in life.
Nope.
And it doesn't factor in training. For example, like Preston was actually, but like I had to know, we had to play it by ear because we went in to train on Sunday after a really hard fought regional final. So, I mean, this kid was good and it took every bit of what he had to win it. And that nervous system output. So let's say we have a kid like, for example, Sid, like she's playing high level soccer games and practices. So she has to come in either before or after practice. So we have to read daily how her recovery is. And nutrition for teenage girls isn't always on point. So you don't know whether it was a good day or a day where they just drink Starbucks and
cookies
and eat cookies. So we're dealing with that because, again, we're not dealing with, college students. Sometimes we do, but we're not dealing with kids who have a training table.
Yeah.
And we're not dealing with professional athletes who have chefs. We're dealing with kids who eat cookies.
And that's why I think the undulating style is so good for kids because we're making the choices, right? Mm-hmm. We're making all the choices. We're making the choice of like whether, what kind of day we want to have essentially. But my job, not only as a strength coach, is to obviously build bigger, faster, stronger, and less injured athletes. Like that's the whole goal,
that's what
right?
We're doing.
But at the same time, if you think about it, and you just said it, and I love this, life is not linear,
no.
Right? There's bumps, there's bruises, there's cuts, there's breaks, there's scrapes, there's everything. And that's how I think about training because I want to keep our kids on edge as much as humanly possible because if it is stagnant like a linear progression is, I'm going to lose them. And it's not I'm going to lose them in training. I'm going to lose them mentally over time, and they think they're going to be able to handle everything. When in reality, they can't, right? That's part of our job is to make sure we give them bumps and bruises essentially, not literally, but figuratively allow them to kind of go down the path, right? Like we're going to have a really hard day. We're going to go down where it's still hard, but now we're moving things faster and go back up where we create the stress we want.
That's why if you have a cookie cutter program that's going to go in and say, here's what everybody does today, that's where CrossFit has an issue too. Mm-hmm. Their workout of the day is for everybody.
I don't even want to think about the workout.
Yeah, the workout of the day is everybody does it. They put it on the board and that's what everybody does.
And that's the problem with the letter and a number and everyone else that, that I've met over the years. And there's a lot of people I love and there's a lot of people I don't like. And it's, all right, 5 by 5, 5 by 3, next week, 5 by 1. Okay. Like, what are you eliciting? Like, what are you trying to gain? What
is the goal with this training? You should be able to explain why you're doing something every time. And I doubt these people can explain why they're doing something.
Yeah. And that's, if like you look at triphasic, they'll have a, like almost a max effort day, kind of like West Side in a way. They'll have a moderate loading day and then they'll have a higher repetition day. So it's a little bit different, but West Side, you have 2 max effort days, you have 2 dynamic days. So it's the same thing. You're undulating. You're literally having a heavy as heck day, dynamic day where you're moving things with intent or, we'll say
that's conjugate too. Yep. You have max effort, you have dynamic.
Yeah. It's all within it.
A lot of what you can learn, you could probably just buy a Louis Simmons book or just read his old stuff.
Just go see Laura Phelps at Tiger Fitness.
Yeah, Laura does a great job at the Beehive at Tiger Fitness in Loveland, Ohio. And she's basically Louis at this point, now that Louis passed on, and she basically learned from Louis and went to present at these seminars with him. And if you ever have a chance to go out and hear her talk on it, it's fascinating. But I think that the whole moral of this video is that programming is dynamic. Yep. And as a coach, you need to be able to talk to your athletes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be weird. All right, guys, I need you to list out exactly what. It's like, no, how's your day?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Oh, what'd you do yesterday? Oh, the game was hard. How are you feeling? Oh, okay. What does anything hurt? Oh,
it's literally like asking who, what, when, where, why, how.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of how I think about it.
You got to have that dynamic with your athletes. You have to be able to talk to them. And, before we start, we always BS like, hey, what's going on? How's everything? How you feeling? anything hurt?
Yeah, and you're a human.
Yes.
You're training kids like, all right, Marc's not human. He is a freak.
I'm definitely human.
I know, but you're just massive, so it doesn't matter.
My lower back says I'm human.
But like asking those questions, like it doesn't have to be who, what, when, where, why, how. But in more sense is like if I can't have an honest conversation with any of our kids about how they're feeling, like physically and mentally, like I know I don't have the kid.
No, you don't.
And I'm going to lose the kid right away. And that's one of the biggest things, and one of the best things I know I'm very good at is getting to know how these kids work and the inner workings of how they are physically and mentally. I can figure it out in a snapshot of a second within 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's just really understanding, how they present themselves in a good day, on a bad day, and kind of reading in between those lines. And if you can't do that as a coach, you should fire yourself. In all honesty, like if you can't read a kid, you don't know how to understand kids, just leave the profession and let someone else handle it.
Yeah, like a lot of classes I'll go in and help that I don't know the kids, and at that point I'm just helping. All right, what do we do? Like you can't come in and be like, well, here's my strategy to do with this. If you're a good coach, you know your athletes. And I might pick out some things like you have multiple athletes, and I'll be like, hey, we got to watch the valgus on that guy right there. And but basically what I want to get at undulating training is essentially a programming or a strength programming or athletic programming form of instinctive training where you don't have to force a square peg into a round hole, in that you can assess the athlete, assess the needs for that day, and work around the programming and having a little bit of variability. So that requires you as a coach to have the knowledge to be able to program on the fly and have the ability to, to make those adjustments based on the athlete's needs for that specific day.
Yeah, it's you can do it in so many different ways, and you're 100% correct. It's you can't fit a square peg in a round hole, and you see it done all the time. And and that's where injuries happen, or kids just get fed up and they want to quit. At the end of the day, if you can be the best trainer in the world, if the kids don't want to be there, you're not a good trainer. So you need to make it fun. You need to make them feel wanted. And again, we're not drill sergeants. We're not a boot camp. It's an experience.
We're coaches, and we want to do what we can to make these kids better on the field and in the classroom and in life. And that's what we're doing. We're lucky to coach one. If you get one pro athlete, you've done something many coaches don't do. But, realize that most of those kids, when they're done playing in high school, they're done. Yeah. They're done ski. So you're going to do everything possible to make sure that for the junior and senior year specifically, that they're balling out, that they're performing at their peak. And if they're good enough to go to the next level, which we've been fortunate enough to have a few, Bryce way more than me, then hey, you know what? Then you did something extra special. But that kid who who stopped playing their senior year, you could have changed that kid's life.
Yeah.
And like that could be the one you saved.
You give me goosebumps right now.
Well, that's what happens.
And and you're giving you're preparing kids for life.
Sports are everything.
And
sports are life, dude.
Yep. And that's, I'll say part of programming is like, I want to test kids. And it goes hand in hand. Like, I don't care if it's undulating, linear, triphasic, conjugate, whatever. If you can't push a kid and prepare a kid for the ups and downs of what life is, then I'm doing them a massive disservice walking to my gym if I can't do that.
Yep. You need to make sure that you challenge. Again, kids need to have difficulty. And there's different kinds of difficulty, right? But some kids you'll have come in who are silver spoon and, mommy and daddy gives them everything. So you become their adversity.
Yeah.
So you become what they learn from. So, it's not just about giving your time to disenfranchise kids. We do that. But it's your time to help kids who are from a great family experience something that'll help drive them further and create their own legacy. That's what it's all about. But I think that kind of explains it. Any questions? Legacy at Carbon on Instagram. That's legacy at the word at. Having two at signs won't work. Legacy at Carbon on Instagram, legacy at carbon.com. And if you want to learn from us, just bring your kid around for 1 week, hang out with us. We'll show you how to kind of progress your kid and make it a good time. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Should have liked this video. Subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell. And remember, that's not a game.
used to have to go through dozens of bottles of vitamins, of supplements, just to get what I need. Look, I'm busy. I'm running multiple businesses. I'm coaching. I'm a professional bodybuilder getting ready for my first pro show. I don't have time to sit there and do all that. I gotta go. I'm on the go all the time. That is why I created MTS Nutrition Immortal. Here's how they look. This replaces dozens of bottles of supplements. So let me tell you exactly what this has. It has probiotics, greens, liver detox, joint support, cardiovascular support, and the most complete multivitamin, multi-mineral supplement ever created. If you have a busy life or you simply want more time to do the things you love and be able to travel by just taking one simple little pack with you, Immortal's for you.